All right, so let's cover the agenda. So my name is Daniel. I'm a trainer here at SunPower. I'm going to go over the product itself and talk about what some of the features and benefits are, as well as how to communicate that to homeowners. Lisa Donovan is going to go over some of the resources that are going to be available to you to be able to learn more about this product and for you to be able to sell this product as well. In addition, we also have Andrew Hosley. He's the area sales manager for Southern California, and he's going to cover some more details in terms of selling this product as well as the availability. In addition to us, we actually have quite a few people who are here to help answer your questions. In addition to Andrew, who is the sales leader for Southern California, we also have the area sales director for Northern California, for NorCal, Jeff Rodriguez. We have Nicole Strube, who is the program manager for this product at our company. We have Matt Eversole, who is the engineering program manager. And we have Cameron Smith, who is also a product manager here at SunPower as well. And after Andrew, we are going to have some time available for some live Q&A, but let's go over some logistics. Everyone's going to be muted. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box, and we'll try to answer many of them as we go along. The chat box, the chat feature is disabled. However, it is something that we might use to be able to broadcast some information to you, the attendees. And at the end of this presentation, there's going to be a survey. We strongly encourage you to please give your feedback on this. We'd love to hear what you liked, what you may not have liked, or what we might do, or what we could perhaps do better in the future to improve these types of presentations for you. So with that all said, let's talk about the Firewall 3. So as I mentioned, this is going to be a backup storage solution for us, providing that backup for the home, that peace of mind, that security to be able to power your home when the lights go out, when there's a grid power outage. In addition to those emotional benefits, here in California, as you know, under NEM 3, having storage has tremendous financial benefits as well. As we know under NEM 3, it makes sense for customers to be able to use as much of the solar that they produce as possible, and that means storing it to be able to use later, in addition to minimize the amount of energy they export back to the grid. Also, this is a product that's going to result in faster installation as well as commissioning. From a customer experience point of view, that means spending less time at the home to complete these installations as well. Here is what the product looks like. And as you can see from the dimensions, it's a little less than 4 feet high, about 2 feet wide, and about 7.5 inches from the wall. Here are some exciting features about this product. This product can deliver 11.5 kilowatts of continuous power. That's a lot of power in a single unit. It's the highest rated power, continuous power in the residential storage space. In fact, according to Tesla, a single unit can provide a whole home backup. And because it can actually discharge a lot of energy, customers will be able to actually export more kilowatt hours during that 2-hour window, those golden hours, if you will, in September, when customers can get rewarded for the energy that they export in September between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. Besides the continuous power ratings, the peak power, now with Tesla, they measure peak power with in terms of the LRA, the amps, the 185 amps of LRA, or locked rotor amps. That is to accommodate the inrush current of large electrical devices and appliances such as central AC or HVAC. It does not post what the peak power is in kilowatts, but it's going to be around that 20 kilowatt range. Actually, Elon Musk has been in interviews, and he actually said that the Firewall 3 can provide peak power of more than 30 kilowatts. But again, that's not something that's posted on any data sheet. The 185 amps of LRA that it could support means that it could support, according to Tesla, a 5-ton, up to a 5-ton AC or HVAC unit. However, keep in mind, in our modeling, 185 amps of LRA, that's a large amount of inrush current. And we actually model 185 to be up to a 6-ton unit. So in other words, this is a product that can support a 5-ton HVAC or AC unit without soft start. So no soft start is necessary to be able to support an AC or HVAC unit of that size. Total capacity has not changed. So compared to the Powerwall Plus and the Powerwall 2, the total capacity stays at a rated 13.5 kilowatt hours. However, what is a little different here is the usable capacity. So Tesla, the Powerwall 3 has 13.5 kilowatt hours of usable capacity. That usable capacity is slightly more than the Powerwall 2 and the Powerwall Plus. So the rated and the usable are the same at 13.5. You can order up to 4 of these. So that is the maximum amount that you can scale out. And you will have that option at launch where you can order 1, 2, 3, or 4 units. And a fun fact, it could even be submerged in up to 2 feet of water. And Tesla has some videos to actually demonstrate that. So that is one of the units that's provided. This is the unit that contains the batteries as well as the inverter. In addition to this component, there's also the backup gateway 2, which is necessary for AC coupled solutions, which is what we offer. You can see the dimensions there. This is also the device that detects if there's a power outage and will instantly provide backup power from that battery unit to the home. It communicates through Wi-Fi or Ethernet, as well as cellular. Keep in mind the cellular is a redundancy. It's a secondary option. Customers still need to connect their product to their storage product to Wi-Fi or Ethernet. It's rated at 200 amps. Keep in mind this is necessary for not only whole home, but for partial home backup as well. Monitoring for storage will be covered under the Tesla app, and we'll go into a little bit more details about the Tesla app and monitoring the storage a little bit later. So that's the system. Again, we can install up to 4 units. That is the maximum. Tesla says it meets UL 9540A performance criteria. What that means is that the units can be installed as close as 6 inches from one another. It all depends on the AHJ. I will say that with Tesla's training, they actually say that the UL 9540A you can install as close as 3 inches. But you know, from the information that we have, the UL 9540A generally allows you to install up to about 6 inches, as close as 6 inches. But again, it all depends on the AHJ. It's NEMA 3R rated, which means it can be installed indoors or outdoors. It can be installed directly on the floor or on the wall. As far as the customer experience goes, there's still one number to call, 1-800-SunPower, or contacting customer support through the My SunPower app. It will be the first point of contact for SunPower customers. Here are the differences between this product and SunVault. I'm going to highlight a few. So as you can see, it is smaller, it is lighter. Continuous power, again, it's 11.5 kilowatts of continuous power is tremendous. You know, we used to talk about SunVault, the 6.8 kilowatts, as being quite substantial. One of the, you know, a storage product that has more available power than other storage products on the market. The Powerwall 3 has 11.5, so much more than SunVault. As far as peak power goes, again, it can support up to a 5-ton HVAC or AC unit without soft start. And the usable and rated energy capacity is the same at 13.5. It could support a breaker in, it could support, so let me say that again. In the electrical panel, it could support or back up a breaker up to 60 amps. In terms of ambient operating temperature, we can install this in places that are colder, as well as places that are higher elevation, 3,000 meters, in fact. We talked about the communication. There are 2 fans located in the upper back area, so you can't really see them. They're back here. You'll recall that with SunVault, there is a single fan as well as a reusable filter that's washable. The Firewall 3 does not have a filter. As far as warranty goes, it's exactly the same as the Firewall 2 and the Firewall Plus. So it's 10 years, holding up to or better than 70% of its original capacity. The number of cycles and the throughput is capped at 6,000 and 37.8 megawatt hours, respectively. So the first point of contact, if there's any issues, customers need to call about this product. They need to contact either 1-800-SunPower or through their My SunPower app. As far as the battery itself or the storage unit itself, this is a warranty that's what we call a pass-through warranty. So it is a Tesla warranty. For the customer experience, they're going to be able to monitor their storage as well as their total PV or their total solar production and their energy consumption in the home using the Tesla app. That's the same app that a Tesla customer owns a vehicle would use. However, to get module level monitoring, in other words, seeing how much each panel is producing, it's only possible using the My SunPower app. And we believe that for customers to get the best experience possible with their solar plus storage solution, they should actually have both apps there available so that you can see the storage production, your consumption, as well as the panel level monitoring via the My SunPower app. Here's some images. This is what a whole home backup solution would look like. Keep in mind there will be some additional boxes that will be that we will need to install with it. But overall, it's still a really, really clean installation. This is a partial home backup. So let's talk about what's in it for homeowners. So this is the most powerful storage solution in the market. A single home has enough power to be able to deliver whole home backup for many homes. Now, keep in mind, though, that if a customer is backing up large devices like a central AC unit, they may want to have more than one unit because it is going to deplete the reserves much quicker than, say, backing up light bulbs and the internet. So even though it has the power to support a whole home backup, it could go through those reserves pretty quickly. But at that 11.5 kilowatts of continuous power, that's really an impressive number there. You can maximize bill savings under NEM 3 by being able to use more of the energy that you produce and exporting less. And combined with our Equinox solar solution, you're really getting our industry-leading Equinox solar solution with the most popular and proven storage option in the market. So very excited to combine 2 of the best, an industry leader in PV as well as an industry leader in storage as well. And we talked about the warranty quite a bit, but it is something that I think the customer needs to understand. I want to go back to something, this whole home backup, the way Tesla phrases this, and you got to be careful here, is that we can avoid those conversations with homeowners, those awkward conversations about what needs to be backed up in the home. So that is something that Tesla talks about. We still think it's worthwhile to go through a thorough discovery to find out what's important for that customer to back up. It could mean the difference of whether we recommend a single or one Powerwall 3 unit or more. So make sure you're still doing a thorough discovery in the needs analysis. All right. So this is a potential failure point when it comes to communicating storage to homeowners. Customers, you know, we're able to offer now a backup solution as well as a non-backup solution, right? So when it comes to backup storage, remember, it has all these financial benefits, all the financial benefits of being able to use more of the energy they produce to help maximize savings. But in addition to that, in addition to the financial benefits, which is what most homeowners who want to go solar are looking for, it also provides that peace of mind, those peace of mind or emotional benefits as well of having that security when the grid goes down. And when customers want both of these, right, these are the products that are going to be able to deliver on them. So these are our backup storage products that we're offering currently. If a customer absolutely does not care about backup storage, in fact, they get angry, just the fact that you're mentioning and asking them a few times, well, then the product that they're probably looking for is a non-backup storage solution, which basically will provide all the financial benefits that they're hopefully looking for. But remember, it does not provide backup power. And for that, we have Enphase. It's very important that customers understand that with Enphase, they're not getting backup power, that it doesn't happen occasionally. You know, this product will not work during a power outage. Okay, their solar will also not work. This is really a product for customers who absolutely do not care about power outages. They never experience them, and all they care about are the financial benefits. If you are doing this, when you're doing that discovery and you're finding that that customer initially is thinking about this product, they don't care about power outages, they don't care about backup power. But as you remind them of this, they start hesitating a little bit. You can sort of sense that they might be having second thoughts. This is the art of the sale, your observational skills, where you're trying to detect whether this is the right product or not, seeing the customer's reaction. If you're sensing that this customer might be having some second thoughts about this, then it might be necessary to pivot from this product to the backup solution, where it can provide all those financial benefits, and in addition to that, provide those emotional peace of mind benefits as well. So again, backup versus non-backup. All right, so with that all said, I want to turn it over to Lisa Donovan, who's going to go over the resources that are going to be available to you.
All right, thank you, Daniel. Thanks. Thank you all for joining today's call. My name is Lisa Donovan, and I'm part of the training team here at SunPower. And our team's, main goal is to provide you with the tools and resources to be successful at what you do from a training perspective. As Daniel mentioned, what I want to do is talk about the resources that are available to you. I did see in some of the Q&A that there are questions regarding the Energy Consultant Guide. And Daniel, can you confirm that you see my screen sharing the EC
Yes.
Guide? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so this is the Tesla Powerwall 3 Energy Consultant Guide. It is also available in Showpad. So really, before I move forward, I do want to get a feel for how many of you are using Showpad. So real quick, can you post that polling question? If you all can take a few seconds to answer this would be great. Okay, great. All right. Looks like, so about 63% of you all are using Showpad. and the remainder are not. So if you are not using Showpad, what we'll do is the resources that we share with all of you today, it's either available through your regional sales manager, or we will send a follow-up email with a link to this webinar, which is being recorded. So if some of your peers were not able to join today, they can log into SunPower University and watch this recording. But in that email, we will include this EC checklist. We'll also add other documents helpful for you all. And then I believe it is also available in the dealer portal. I'll confirm that. I believe we had it posted last week, but I'll definitely confirm that. But three sources of information: your RSM for sure, the dealer portal, which I'm confirming, but I think I'm 95% sure that it's there. And then we'll send a follow-up email. And it's also in SunPower University. So you all, for those of you that don't subscribe to Showpad, I highly recommend that you do. And if you don't, that there are great places for you all to go to. So here's the EC checklist. Please study this. Definitely study this. It answers some of the questions. There was a question in the Q&A that talked about the minimum, I believe it was the minimum size. So there's a section on solar system sizing here, whether you choose 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the Powerwall battery. So it provides details here. It also talks about the modules that are compatible, the inverters that are compatible as well. So it gives you all the details that you need. So as you're sitting through with the homeowner, you can go through this and assist you in the sales. But I highly recommend that you all review this. It provides a lot of technical information here. And also it goes into some size restrictions by utility further on into the document. There's a section in here as well regarding placement and dimensions. So this is critical as well. And then at the top, this is where you'll help identify, what is important to be backed up by the homeowner. And then, and then additional, like nice to haves in the end. So it also has a section speaking about EV charger load. So highly recommend here. Again, it's available in Showpad and it's also available in SunPower University. So if you want to multitask and log into both sections, you can. The other thing that we're going to provide to you, that this is more on a technical side. This is the tech note that we released for installers, and it talks about the integration between Equinox and with Powerwall. There are some commissioning steps in here, and there's some information regarding installs and the whole integration. So for those of you that are on the technical side and would like to familiarize yourself with this is also going to be made available to you all. Daniel did share a graph or an image on what a partial home backup system would look like, right? And then he also shared what a whole home backup would look like. So all of that is available here. Again, more technical, but if you, I know that some of you are pretty technical with your your background. So this is also available to you as well. The other thing that I also want to share is I'm going to move over here. This is the Showpad page. This is the section in Showpad for non-installing dealers here. It also has some marketing material, right? So that's available for you to download and begin using and adding into your presentation in Showpad. And then you'll see down here that there's also a marketing toolkit that's available, and all of this was made available from Tesla, and we're consolidating all of it in Showpad for all of you. Okay. We also uploaded, as I mentioned earlier, we have the EC checklist that's here, and then we have the tech note that's available here. If there are some things that you need that you would like added into Showpad, please let your RSM know, and they'll contact myself or the marketing department, and we'll get that uploaded in here if we can get that information. But this is really nice so that it's in one consolidated area for all of you guys. Okay, I think that was all I had to share. Please visit SunPower University. If you do a search like under Powerwall using the keyword Powerwall or Tesla, there'll be a whole host of either training in there or additional resources that are available to all of you. So SunPower University is definitely a great resource for all of you. I think that's all I had. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at training_support@sunpower.com. My name is Lisa Donovan. I'll put it in the chat. Feel free to contact me directly. I'm happy to support all of you as you begin selling this product. We're super, super excited to give this option to all of you to sell and to make available to your customers or your potential homeowners. So that's it. I'm going to toss it over to Andrew, and Andrew will then go ahead and speak to some of more on the sales side and availability. So with that being said, Andrew, you're on.
Thank you, Lisa. And if my internet has been a little spotty today, so apologies if I cut in and out a little bit. Please let me know, the panelists, if I do. First thing I want to, well, first of all, I'm personally super, super excited about this, about getting Tesla launched in both channels. We went live last week with non-installing. Some of you have already sold some. So we're very excited to see that happen so quickly. Congratulations on your first Tesla Powerwall 3 sales. I personally think that this is going to be a bit of a game changer for us collectively. Very excited for us to kind of swim with the current, so to speak, and have a product that is so well known in the industry and with customers. There's a big, obviously, brand name there that we can leverage. We do lose a tiny bit of differentiation with SunVault, but a lot of the benefits that we get with Powerwall well make up for what differentiation that we lose right now by not having SunVault. So overall, I'm super, super excited about this. One of the questions that I'm getting a lot from dealers is, as you're starting to quote out the Tesla Powerwall 3, you're noticing that in some cases, the lease payment, the monthly lease payment is coming out higher for Tesla versus SunVault. And it's a very common logical question. Hey, why is the lease payment coming out a little bit higher in some of these cases, 10, 15, $20 a month higher versus SunVault when the Tesla is a cheaper product? Well, the reality is that when we had SunVault and that was our only battery option, we didn't really have another choice. So SunVault was heavily subsidized. The cost was heavily subsidized on lease PPA, especially for smaller systems. So for your smaller systems, if the question is really about cost and cost effectiveness, and if the customer's concern that you find out through your discovery process is all around saving the most money possible, for systems that are certainly under 7 kilowatts, possibly even under 8 kilowatts, but somewhere for sure under 7 kilowatts, if it's all about the savings, you really ought to look at Enphase and at least model that and see what the difference is, and then talk with the customer and weigh the cost and benefit of having backup versus non-backup and how much value they associate with that, right? Like Daniel was saying earlier, does the customer really care about power outages? Do they actually suffer from power outages? Or is this something that we have just as salespeople, as sales consultants, that we have socialized with the customers that they should be mindful of and they should care about, right? So make sure you're doing proper discovery to figure out what the needs actually are that you need to fill for the customers. But from a pure saving standpoint, if you're 7 kilowatts or less, you're going to have a much better monthly payment, a more attractive monthly payment, selling the much cheaper Enphase solution than the Powerwall. Once you get to around 9 kilowatts and greater, the Powerwall looks very, very attractive. And in this world of NEM 3 and the way that our lease pricing works, there's a lot of benefit to oversizing anyways and quote unquote future-proofing the system. So if in reality the customer needs a 7 kilowatt system to just offset 100% of their consumption, you're very quickly getting into the 9+ kilowatt range when you're considering future-proofing, building the system, not just for year one, but for the next 5 years of potential consumption habits, right? And how those change. So keep that all in mind. Reach out to your RSM if you need to dig into that further, but we'll reach out to your RSM anyways to schedule training. This is all obviously new, so we want to do a lot of one-on-one trainings with each of you as individual dealers. Moving on from that, one positive side with both, frankly, Enphase and Tesla, but we're going to focus on Tesla, is, and unfortunately, you can't respond verbally. Otherwise, I'm sure we'd get a lot of people saying something. But just think to yourself, how many of you that have sold a battery with us in the last 12 months or whatever have had to do a change order for an extra cost associated with a bollard? Bollards will very soon, hopefully, become a thing of the past for both Enphase and also Tesla. Those batteries, the physical batteries are smaller. We're able to mount them higher up off the ground. So we're able to get that 36 inches of clearance needed so that we don't have to install a bollard if we're installing in a garage. A lot of AHJs still require heat detectors. So if we're installing in the garage, the heat detector is often needed still, but at least we can eliminate the need for a bollard and save that $1,000 or whatever the cost typically is. Moving on from that, I want to address a change that happened in the last 2 weeks. I think it was last 2 weeks. Many of you have noticed, and I've gotten a lot of questions on this. We have simplified how we want you to account for the money you make for your commissions, and we have removed the storage commission field from the quoting. This is purely in an effort to just simplify the process. One less thing for you to do, one less step, one less little error that Eddie will throw at you if you forget to put a storage commission in, or if you go change the battery size or anything like that. So now you just don't have to worry about it. Whatever you want to make, just put it in as your price per watt, and everything will flow through. So just want to continue to socialize that has changed. That's not an error you're seeing. It's not a bug. That is a conscious decision we made to remove it to simplify the process for you guys. I've also been getting some questions around standalone batteries. That is something we plan to offer, but not right now. This is a big new change. We need to kind of let the dust settle, get used to our crews and installing partners working with the product. But it is something that we're keeping close to, and we'll be working with our products team and pricing team to roll that out when we feel comfortable that we can start offering that again. And that is something we're very excited about. We know that that's a big market. We absolutely want to take advantage of it, and that will come in due time. In terms of setting expectations, we're able to sell now as of last week, but setting expectations for the first install, outwardly right now, what we're saying is July 1st. So we really need to set expectations with customers that if they're signing a contract today, the first targeted installations for Powerwall 3 is going to be around the July 1st timeframe. We are very hopeful that we'll be able to pull that in a little bit into June, but we really do need to set proper expectations that, hey, this is a new product. There's a lot of variables here, including just demand for the product and supply availability. We really don't know what the next 6 weeks is going to look like. So we just need to set good expectations that if you're selling something today, we're almost in May. So I would set expectations about realistically like a 90-day turnaround, best case scenario. And hopefully it will be less than that, but those are the expectations we should set for a new product launch. And last thing I have on my list, just to further reiterate what Daniel talked about in terms of the monitoring. A lot of questions come around monitoring. What app are we going to use? We do have plans. There's no timing on it. There is plans to get an API into My SunPower so that the customer can just have a single app to work with. No timing on that yet, so we don't have a date to share. But when we do, we'll certainly communicate it. But for the foreseeable future, the customer will have 2 monitoring apps. So please make sure that you're socializing this with the customer during the sales process so that they don't get blindsided later on. They will have 2 monitoring apps. They'll have the My SunPower app, which will be for production monitoring, and they'll want to use My SunPower for a variety of other things. If they ever have an issue and need to make like a warranty claim or get a case number because something's not working as expected or whatever, there's a great method to create a case or open a case up for a warranty claim in the My SunPower app. So they definitely want to be familiar with the My SunPower app and use it. But from a monitoring standpoint for the battery system, as well as consumption monitoring, they will have to go through the Tesla app for that. So they will have 2 different user interfaces, both Tesla app as well as My SunPower app for 2 different things. And that's pretty much what I got. Let's take a look at the Q&A. Thanks for manning that, Jeff and others. Oh, I did want to address one thing live. Mick Toner asks, how long does it take to recharge a depleted Powerwall? That's kind of a tough question to answer because it depends on a lot of different factors. The one thing I think that's important for you to know, and you can look at this on the data sheet, and please familiarize yourself with the consultant guide. Um, it's very good news that the Powerwall has a very powerful inverter and has a lot of AC output for being able to tackle variable loads and large motor loads like HVAC and whatnot. Um, that 11.5 kilowatt AC output, that is not, however, what the Powerwall can charge at. It's still limited both on grid and off grid at a charge rate of 5 kilowatts. So just it's very easy if you think about it that it's a powerful inverter in terms of supplying energy, but it's a much less powerful inverter in terms of recharging itself, if that makes sense. So charge rate is still 5 kilowatts, so it will charge. It'll charge half as fast as it can drain is another way to look at it. So how long it takes to recharge, that depends on a lot of factors. Are you on grid? Are you off grid? What's your PV production versus, home consumption? What time of day are we talking about? We can talk about that offline, but that's a very complicated question. I'm just going to keep going through this list and see what we got here. How much does the after solar differ between the 3 battery options? That's also dependent on just a lot of different factors, what the consumption is, how much PV offset you have. Do you have enough, PV, do you have enough solar to generate enough energy to recharge those batteries? What I'd tell you, Sean, is trust the tool. The tool is very accurate, call it 90% accurate in terms of the remaining utility bill for that customer, depending on what size system you're designing. It could be a little bit more accurate, realistically, if we were able to import interval data. We're not right now. That's something that's being worked on, but we are using a average customer load profile that's provided to us by Genability/Arcadia, and they are really the gold standard for utility rate analysis. So as long as you're putting in accurate monthly consumption information, we're modeling that against a average customer load profile for that particular zip code. So it is very accurate. And I would just trust the tool in what you're seeing. I'll move that one. Next question. Will this change the way we approach second systems? Are we able to sell a second system to a Tesla customer now? Few different ways to answer that question. What I tell everybody, because this is kind of common about second systems, if there's an existing battery on site already, no, we cannot sell them an additional battery yet. And maybe I shouldn't even say yet, but as of now, no, we cannot sell them an additional battery. That becomes very, very complicated. But if someone just has an existing system that's solar only, if it's PV only, and you want to sell them additional solar and a battery, yes, absolutely, we can do that. Now, there are caveats to that. Depending on some jurisdictions require a single point of disconnect. In a case like that, we may run into issues, but there aren't a ton of AHJs or utilities that require that anymore. So chances are, yes, if you want to sell a second system and the existing system currently is only solar and you want to add additional solar and battery, yes, chances are we can do that. Next question, will Tesla app allow us to show usage and production along with storage? Yes, Tesla app will show everything. It'll show production, consumption, and the storage.
And just to make clear, though, that is total PV production. Module level production is only possible using the My SunPower app.
Yeah, good call out, Daniel. Next question is about lead times. Will we see times go down? Will it always be at 90 days? No, it'll absolutely come down. In fact, I forget what the exact number is, but just in general, somewhere around 10% of all systems sold in this channel get installed within 30 days. So there definitely is a significant cohort of projects that get installed super fast. It's really just dependent on how, quote unquote, solar ready that home is, right? Do we need to do an MPU? Is there roofing involved? Is there an HOA we need to get through, etc. So a lot of different factors that can determine the ultimate timeline for that project. I'm just saying right now, brand new big product launch, because it's not just us, it's industry wide. This is a new product. It may not be available like immediately. So we already know that AC coupled just became available. Our team is validating the product, making sure that everything's going to work perfectly. We're targeting July 1st as the first installation date. We're very hopeful we can pull that into June, but for now we just need to stick with July 1st, and those are the expectations we should set with customers to be safe. All right. Next question. Is it like SunVault in terms of the modes, cost saving, self-supply?
So I was just typing that answer out.
You want to go ahead and answer that live, Daniel?
Yeah, sure. So the question was regarding the different modes that are available. Yes, basically the same modes that are with SunVault are available with Powerwall. They come with different names though. So for instance, instead of like cost savings mode where you can use more energy during the peak hours or the on peak hours, they call it time-based control. That's what Tesla calls it. But let's see, what else is there? Instead of self-supply, they have what's called self-powered, which is exactly the same thing, just a different name. Customers can also adjust their reserve levels if they detect like a power outage. There's also a feature called Storm Watch, which is something that is different and unique to this product, which is that if there is a severe weather event detected, and you enable Stormwatch, then it will automatically charge your Powerwall to full capacity, anticipation of a possible grid outage.
Cool, thank you. Looks like there's a question about, and it looks like Matt is answering it, but we'll talk about it live. Does Powerwall 3 decrease the chance of an MPU? It frankly does, yeah. Similar to SunVault, with how the Hub Plus works, there's a lot of different ways that we can install the system and how we can leverage the gateway too. Yes, it often can eliminate the need for an MPU. Matt, do you want to add any other additional color to that?
Yeah, we'll leverage PCS. So the Powerwall has lots of great PCS modes built into it, and almost always will be used on installs. And that we can use that to limit how much current goes back to the main panel and try to avoid main panel upgrades. It won't be never, but it can help to reduce it.
And speaking of PCS, I'm glad you mentioned that. Just to talk about that for a second, because there could be a very simple, I'll call it rookie mistake that sales consultants can make in talking to customers and saying, hey, if we start adding more Powerwalls going from 1 to 2, and even the tool, like, and Eddie will show you this, with a second Powerwall, technically, theoretically, you have the ability to have up to 23 kilowatts of AC output, as in, like, you could supply 23 kilowatts of power to the home. In reality, to be code compliant, that's probably not going to work the vast majority of the time. We will have to artificially lower that amount through PCS, through power control systems. So just be careful when you're talking to customers and you're talking about, multiple Powerwalls. It's not going to necessarily be true that you're going to be able to provide them with 20 or 30 or 40 kilowatts of additional power. That will be limited to meet code requirements. And that's one of the beauties of the product, is that it can be limited. So otherwise it would force service upgrades every single time and very, very expensive upgrades. So we can avoid all that with the software known as PCS or power control systems. Question here. If a customer is already on NEM 2 and is now going to get a new system with a battery, are there best practices for sizing the new PV system to handle both the new and old system going into NEM 3? Yeah, I would just look at what their remaining consumption is. Let's say even with the existing system, they're still consuming 4,000 kilowatt hours a year. I would then probably look at offsetting 120 to 130% realistically of that additional consumption if you're moving them to NEM 3. But I just play with the tool and see what makes sense, both from a cost standpoint, saving standpoint, and just overall value standpoint for the customer. Question here about NEM 3. Do we anticipate California Supreme Court overturning NEM 3? I have no clue. I'm not qualified to answer that question. Certainly, we can take that to our policy team and see if they have an opinion on it. We'll get back to you. Can you please explain a little more on what the continuous power means compared to SunVault and Tesla? Yeah, so continuous power. So, well, either during a power outage and or just leveraging like time of use rate arbitrage, like dumping power either to supply loads in the home during peak times or just dumping energy to the grid to earn ACC credit. The Powerwall can send energy to either the home or the utility grid at a rate of up to 11.5 kilowatts or 11,500 watts continuously. Whereas SunVault could do that at, I'm already forgetting, but 7.6 or 7,600 or 7,800 watts. So there definitely is a difference there. The point is that if the home needs it, you're going to drain that Powerwall a lot faster than you would drain the SunVault.
Hey, Andrew, while you're looking at some of the other questions there, a question that hasn't come up, which I'm surprised because it always comes up in these trainings, is the battery chemistry. So there's a lot of stuff online where it talks about, what the battery chemistry might be or whatever, but just keep in mind that Tesla has not publicly announced it. And because we value our partnership and want to, be respectful for the non-disclosures and all that stuff that I'm sure the leaders at our company sign. We can't tell you what that is, but if you have access to the partner portal, there is a report, Tesla's UL 9540A report on the battery, the safety of the battery, the thermal runaway test that says what the battery chemistry is. And so they did publish that in the partner portal if you're very, very curious on what that is. But just keep in mind that Tesla has not officially or publicly announced what that battery chemistry is.
Yeah, they're choosing not to really talk about it. In their opinion, it shouldn't matter for the customer. Question about which operating mode is best financially for the homeowner with PPA. To be honest, I don't think that the customer really has to choose. The way it's going to be set up and commissioned is just to be to offer the best savings possible. So I would encourage the customer just not to change that and not to put it in reserve mode. I don't know if Nicole or Matt, you want to add additional color to that if you have additional information.
No.
I would, it's the same way with our customers. Some customers save more money with cost savings mode. Some people save more money with self-supply mode. And those two modes are going to be available with the Powerwall 3. They just call it time-based control and self-powered. But yeah, those, whatever those modes, whatever works out to their best for them, the way they consume energy, those modes will be available to them. They're pretty much identical to the modes that we have with SunVault.
Yeah.
It has some pretty fancy functionality around predicting solar production. It monitors the weather coming in, how much PV you'll produce. And I mean, it is, yeah, but so it's kind of trust the technology, let it save you money.
Definitely. And it looks like the last question here, unless some more come in. Yeah, some others will come in. Can the Powerwall 3 support the recharging of EVs? I mean, short answer is yes, but just like SunVault, it really depends how big your home battery is, right? The average car battery is 75 or 80 kilowatt hours, and that seems to be going up, especially with larger vehicles coming on the market, SUVs and trucks, etc. So just remember that if you've got a 13 kilowatt hour home battery or even a 26 kilowatt hour home battery or 27, I guess, you're taking that 13 and a half or 27 kilowatt hours. And if you dump all of that into your car, you're not getting a whole lot of power for your car, but yet you're draining your entire home battery. And now you're not going to be able to run your refrigerator and lights. So while technically you can do that, is that the most pragmatic thing to do, right? Probably not, but that's for customers to decide.
Yeah, I think especially if you're away from home when the power goes out, it could drain your battery very quickly.
Yeah.
But there is some integration with the Tesla chargers. So if people own a Tesla vehicle and owns a Tesla charger and they put that with their Powerwall, we haven't seen it in action, but apparently they will kind of work together, and the Powerwall will shut down the charging to prevent you from overloading your Powerwall from a power consumption standpoint. And also you can set thresholds, and you can say, okay, when my battery gets below this state of charge, stop charging my vehicle. So there's some smart energy and power management that can go on with Tesla vehicles and Tesla chargers. But again, we haven't really seen those in action yet.
Yep. Victor has a question about just continuation of the continuous power question, but he asks, how does the homeowner export power to the grid during the September and also August export credits? They don't have to do anything. That's all just pre-planned into the software for how the battery is going to operate. So for the customer to enjoy the best savings possible, frankly, they should not touch the app. They shouldn't touch the operating modes. But what they could do is they could consciously limit how much energy they consume during peak hours. So if they want to increase their chance of savings or increase the opportunity for savings, they should consciously reduce their consumption during peak hours. And especially in the summertime for investor-owned utilities, they should consciously reduce how much energy they're consuming from 6 to 8 p.m. so that they preserve as much power as possible to export to the grid. That's what they could do, but they should not mess with the settings on the app. Question about VPP programs for IOUs in California. I mean, overall update, I don't know. They exist. Homeowners can take advantage of them. Tesla has a great VPP with the different utilities, and yeah, I forget what they call it, but the customers can absolutely take advantage of that and sign up for that to earn additional, quote unquote savings or just revenue generation, I guess. There was a question about proposals, and it triggered something, a memory. There is a change coming. I've gotten a lot of questions saying, hey, like on lease and PPA, it's a 25-year service agreement, but your proposal says 10-year warranty. We're well aware of that. Thank you for telling us that and reminding us. That is getting fixed. Digital is working on that, and that should be live at the end of next week. So at the end of next week, really come Thursday next week, the proposal should say, instead of 10-year warranty on a lease proposal or lease or PPA proposal, instead of saying 10-year battery warranty, it'll say something to the extent of 25-year service contract or 25-year coverage. So that'll make selling those a whole lot easier without having to explain that, well, that's the warranty. You don't actually have a warranty. This is covered under the service contract because you don't own it, right, et cetera. It'll make that conversation a lot easier from a sales standpoint. And it looks like we're pretty good on questions. So thank you everyone for joining. Daniel.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that, well, one thing, Matt just brought up a really cool feature, like, some of the integration you could have if you own a Tesla car as well. There is actually something called Charge on Solar, which will also help to reduce exports. Basically, the way it works is that if you set it up with your Tesla vehicle, that any excess energy that's produced during the day is actually going to go to your car, right, and help charge your car. It's called Charge on Solar. So that's another way that you could help minimize those exports. Now, if you have the Tesla car as well, if you don't have a Tesla car, can't do it. But if you have a Tesla vehicle, yeah, you can. And, it sounds like, with all the questions that you have, we'd love to be able to address some of these live, as well as for those of you who want to learn more on how to sell solar plus storage, our new products in this NEM 3 world. We strongly encourage you to come out to our RSPs, our in-person instructor-led trainings. We have one coming up in May in Sacramento. As well, we are back in Orange County in Santa Ana in June. So two of my favorite locations. We'd love to see you there. If you have any questions, please register for those. Talk to your RSN.